Hi, I'm back. My name is Roy Martina, and I'm here to talk with you about our upcoming training in Italy at the Garda Lake, and it's called the Christallin Oracle Training. And the first one is the Quantum Leap. We have 4 modules of 4 days spread out, 2 modules per year. We start in October. The next 2 modules will be in 2018, March and October, and the last one will be in March 2019. And then you can opt to pass the certification examination for becoming one of our crystalline oracles. And in this one video, I'm going to talk a little bit about remote viewing, one of the subjects we will teach you in one of the modules. And at the same time, there's a part of remote viewing also called astral traveling. So what is remote viewing? Remote viewing was developed in America by the Stanford University on request of the Spy Agency of America, also known as the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. And Stanford developed a procedure for soldiers, military, to see at a distance. So in other words, imagine a scenario where a soldier needs to know if in a building there's an enemy or a sniper. And they developed a training where the military could, in their mind, without leaving where they are, by closing their eyes, could see what's happening on a different place. It is not an easy technique to learn. It's very technical, but everybody can learn it. And what they discovered is that not the so-called spiritual people are the best in remote viewing. They're better in astral traveling, but the military, people can take orders, people are precise, people are analytical, people who are logical, left brain, could better be in remote viewing, because remote viewing is partially left brain, partially right brain. In my previous video, I explained a little bit about left and right brain. So the left brain is analytical, logical, very connected to the time as we know it, linear time, and the right brain is wireless. So you use your right brain as a wireless tool to gather information, and you analyze it with your left brain. That's a short thing about a short summary about remote viewing. And so the CIA developed a group of people. They trained into remote viewing, and they start spying back to the Russians, which also had remote viewing. Actually, the Russians had remote viewing first. And then, for example, in Moscow, the electricity of the embassy fell out. This is years ago. Fell out, and they didn't have electricity for 24 hours. And the Americans wanted to know if the Russians did it on purpose and if they went into the building and did whatever. So they have done that. But what they discovered was that remote viewing, because it's wireless, we know left brain is linear time, right brain is non-linear time. It's entering into all kinds of timelines. We call it outside of the linear timeline. What they discovered, that they could remote view the past and they could remote view the future. And they start then looking at the future. And then the CIA start actually becoming a predictor of things that will happen, calamities, wars that will happen, the problems that the military will face in the future. So the American intelligence had information about the future that they can act upon. So for example, right now in America, they're building all these bunkers underground because the remote viewers saw that there will be an event where part of the infrastructure, the wireless infrastructure and the electrical structure of America will be destroyed in the future. And so they're already preparing for that, but in a way that I cannot tell you about right now because it's all top secret, but they know already of things that will happen in the future. So that's one of the ways they use remote viewing. The way we use remote viewing is also more related to future, so that we can see what's coming to the future, but the future is kind of tricky. And I will talk about that in a coming video, because there's not one future that you can look into. So you need to know exactly what future to look into. But there are ways to do that. For example, one remote viewer, 4 years in 2012, predicted that Trump will become president of America. This was even before Trump became president of America. This was even before Trump knew that he was going to run for president at the time. He remote viewed that, and what he did was he placed a bet. In England, you can place bets on you can gamble on anything. He placed a bet that Trump will win the presidency 4 years before the election, and he won a ton of money. And there are other remote viewers that are remote viewing, for example, the stock market to see where to invest and all of that. So remote viewing is not a, let's put it this way, it's not an airy-fairy thing. It can be very precise. What we did with remote viewing, we contracted an ex-CIA agent who is a master in remote viewing to remote view our future and to see where is the best for us to live. From all the possible futures, which place in this current timeline would be the best place for us to live. And that's when he came up for us with North Carolina, in the mountains, Asheville, and now we live in Asheville. This was done in January 2013, and 4th of July 2013, we moved to Asheville. And this just give you an interesting idea what you can do with remote viewing. And now we live in Asheville since 2013, so we've been living here for 4 years. We now understand why we need to be here, for the school for our kids, for the new friends we made, the house we have, and the things we're doing here. And Asheville is one of the most interesting cities in America, because it's a place that where all people blend together, the hippies, the rich, the poor. You have incredible nature. We are living in the Appalachian Mountains. The most waterfalls in America are here. In Asheville, we have the highest percentage of healers of all of America living in Asheville, the most massage therapists living in Asheville, the most tattoo parlors, the most yoga places, all the crazy stuff that we like, hippies, all of them live in Asheville. So we're very happy that have remote view Asheville and come to live in Asheville. That's a little bit of remote viewing, and that's one of the things we will teach in our Christallin Oracle Training. And so go to roymartina.it and check out and see if you can still inscribe for 12 to 15 October in Lake Garda in Italy. And hope to see you there or in my next video.